executioner tried 3 times to sever her head from her neck. He was unable to do so. He ran off in fear. But the wound that she received to the back of her neck led to her death. While she was dying, people caring for her heard heavenly music. So she's the patron saint of church musicians. She was buried in the Catacombs. 700 years after she was buried, they were building a church in her honor above ground. They wanted to move her remains into the church. They opened her tomb, found her body incorrupt. She suffered no decay. She's the first documented what's called incorruptible saints. Another 700 years after that, they were renovating her church. The sculptor Moderno was working in the church as a craftsman. They again opened her tomb. He again saw her body incorrupt, and that's the basis on which he made the piece of sculpture, which you guys in the Sebastian room will see in a second. But this is what her body looked like 1,400 years after she died. If you look at her hands, you'll see her hands reflect her belief in the Trinity, 3 persons in one God. The other room, we have Sebastian. Sebastian was a soldier. He was a member of what was called the Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard was kind of like the secret service of its day. They were the elite guards of the emperor. The emperor found out that he was a Christian, didn't like that, tried to get him to renounce his faith. He wouldn't, so he ordered that he be executed. He was shot full of arrows, left for dead. A fellow Christian came upon him. Miraculously, he was still alive. She took him to her home. She nursed him back to health. The first thing that he did once he recovered was to go back and in public confront the emperor and in public condemn the emperor for his cruelty to Christians. The emperor then ordered that he be beaten to death, and that's how he died. He's the patron saint of soldiers and also the patron saint of archers. If you look around the rooms, yes, ma'am?
Oh, sorry, what's your name again?
Cecilia. Cecilia. If you look around the room, you'll see examples of artwork from the catacombs. You have images depicting New Testament stories and Old Testament stories. In the Cecilia room, you'll see the most popular image in the catacombs, which is the image of the Good Shepherd. In a couple seconds, I'll ask you to get up, but before I do that, there was a question about the space that you walked through before you got into this space. On either side, there's depictions of Christians being thrown to the wild animals. That space is supposed to depict kind of what it was like to be under the Colosseum at the time of the persecution. 2 saints are depicted who survived being thrown to the wild animals. One was Saint Thecla. Thecla heard the preaching of Paul. As a result of that, Paul offered marriage to a pagan. The fellow was not very happy with that. He turned her in. She was thrown to the animals. The animals did not touch her. She went on to help in Paul's ministry. The other side depicts Venantius. Venantius was a young man, 15 years old. He was thrown to the animals. Again, the animals did not touch him, but then he was beheaded. So we're going to stand up in a second. We're going to pretend that Cecilia